Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
Welcome to the Worry-Free Retirement with best-selling author and fiduciary Tony Walker.
If you got it, you don't need it. If you need it, you don't got it. You don't get it, shame on you. Funny, funny, funny what money can do. Them that have it, get more of it. The less they need it, the more they love it. And it sticks to them like glue. Funny, funny, funny what money can do.
Recently on this radio program, we talked about my wife and myself tackling a once-in-a-lifetime project of building our dream home, and not just any dream home, but one referred to as a timber frame home. Hopefully it was helpful in making a comparison between building a house to live in and what we like to refer to as your financial house to live from. That's because regardless of whether you're taking on an oversized home building project or you're in the process of trying to get your own financial house in order, the key to a successful outcome of any project is following what I call the 5 P's. So before we get into today's program, let's get into those real quick, a quick review. The 5 P's of any project is process, planning, products, people, and of course peace, or in the end having financial peace in this case. So what I've discovered over the past 36 years of helping thousands of savers worry less about money is this. Of all the 5 P's that are equally important, there seems to be one P that the financial world tends to focus on, and that's the focus of today's program. Before we get into it, though, welcome to the Worry-Free Retirement, folks. I am that little man in the sweater vest and fresh off a trip to Georgia and back with looked like a red van out there. Is it red?
No, the new car is white. The red van is now mine.
Aha.
Yeah.
So, yeah, America's favorite financial sidekick, Aaron Orander, I'm totally confused now. So he's going to tell us about a recent trek they made to Georgia. And first of all, I'm happy for you. I know you got kids running around everywhere. And so now you got 2 vans. Is that right?
That's right. I am now that guy with the 2 minivans. That's me, folks. That's my life now. No,
you traded in the little Miata sports car convertible, didn't you?
Yeah. I traded in the Lamborghini. Yeah, I traded that in. I just had to get rid of it, folks. It was killing me on gas. No. We killed a couple birds with one stone. We had a family member who was looking to sell their van, and we've been in the market for a month or 2 now looking for a new car, and this was just a deal we just really couldn't pass up. But they live in northern Georgia. Uh-huh. So we decided to just take a few days of family vacation, and we just jumped in one van and traveled down there and stayed with them for a few days. And then on the way back up, I drove one van and Jess drove the other.
That is awesome. Well, Congratulations.
Thank you.
You deserve it. So I'm sure that it is going to be helpful, though. I remember we had the old van days. I mean, with kids, those vans
that was the
are
number
really
one
practical.
thing. My car could not even fit all 3 of our kids in it. So that was, if Jess's red van broke down, we were carless, as far as a car that could fit all of us. So we just needed to take that into consideration. So I know I joke about being a minivan dad now, but it is kind of a good thing to be able to have all the kids be able to get in either car.
And I don't want to take car seats lightly, what I'm about to share, but I don't know why I just thought of this. Lacey and my 2 grandchildren, my favorite son-in-law, Lacey, and their 2 children, fortunately, she was in a pretty big vehicle and had really good car seats, but about her getting broadsided down here.
That's
on
right.
Shelbyville
I remember you talking about that.
But I think about in the 60s, Aaron, you're not going to believe this. For a period of time, my grandfather had a 62 Volkswagen Beetle. Well, actually, that was my dad's car, I think, and I think he kind of sold it to Granddad. But before that, I kid you not, when we go driving around town, have you ever seen the back seat behind the Volkswagen Beetles? There was like a little space back there.
Yeah.
I used to crawl back
lay
in
up there.
Yeah, we'd ride around the back of that. I'm thinking, boy, times have changed. So again, enjoy the van, and that's what we're kind of talking about today, folks. Is Really, Tony Walker Financial, I'm a safe money specialist. It's kind of like jumping in that car, and rather than hopping in behind the back seat of a 62 Volkswagen Beetle and hoping for the best, we want to strap our money in. We want to make the money safe. And the problem is, all the financial world wants to talk about is products. And kind of just like vans, Aaron, even vans. I know there's a lot of different vehicles. There's all kinds of different vans out there now, right?
Yes, there are. Yep.
Different styles, different. So, folks, there's no one size fits all. The problem is the financial world, rather than focusing on all 5 Ps when they're trying to work on a project for you, like retirement planning, which is what we do, they focus on one product. So what I thought I would do first of all, just so you could realize how potentially confusing this financial world can be, I'm going to name off just some. These are not all, Aaron. Some of the financial products that you could offer. So I guess when we started the opening statement, what I was saying is, basically, and I'll tell the story in a minute that's hilarious, but just because all you've got's a hammer, did you catch the first of that, what Maslow said? All the problems begin to resemble nails. Why do you think he said that, though? What is he really trying to portray there?
Well, if that's the only tool that you've got in your I don't want to say arsenal. If that's the only tool you got in your toolbox, we talked about toolboxes, a few shows ago. If that's the only tool you've got in your toolbox, then you just have to make it work.
That's right. When it might require a screwdriver, and instead you just change the problem and say, well, I'll use a hammer. So here's just some of the products, folks, that you might have to deal with, or you might be pitched or sold or whatever. I'll start with annuities. You could be pitched or thinking about stocks, bonds, mutual funds. We talked about ETFs, exchange traded funds, recently. Life insurance is a product you might consider. Long-term care insurance, final expense policies. Those are getting bigger and bigger. Medicare supplements. That's something you need in retirement. Real estate trusts. Bank instruments such as CDs, money markets. Government bonds, corporate bonds, gold, silver. Aaron, actually, I could probably keep thinking, I could dive in even deeper. There's even annuities. We were talking to a gentleman yesterday, and I was showing him our split IRA concept where we use Charles Schwab and annuities. And he'd already read the little booklet I wrote called The Annuity Decision Guide for Savers. And he said, Tony, I didn't realize there were so many different types of annuities. And I wished I'd given the minivan example. I'm thinking, there's tons of annuities. There's accumulation annuities, there's income annuities, there's fixed indexed, there's fixed interest, there's variable, immediate, and there's no wonder that the consumer out there, Joe Lunchbox, is so confused. So when I come back, I'm going to tell a little story about our building project that really relates to hammers and the right tool for the right job. And then I'm going to share with you a philosophical point about how much money you really need to retire and why the financial world doesn't want you to understand this little known secret that we use at Tony Walker Financial to help our savers worry less about retirement.
If someone wants to roll their 401k over to you, is there a cost to that?
There is no cost whatsoever. So what happens is, the good thing is a 401k in most cases has no cost to roll it out. In other words, your current custodian, whoever's handling that, won't charge you to move it over. We handle all the details. When we put it in our products, there's no upfront cost. If we use annuities, they pay us a one-time commission, but those commissions are paid by the company. That doesn't come out of your pocket. That's built into the annuity itself. The Schwab program we use, we charge fees, but those fees are quarterly and they're charged what's called in arrears. So you would put the money in, you wouldn't get a fee charged until 3 months later. So there's absolutely no cost, no tax liability as long as it's done properly to move that 401k over to Tony Walker Financial. Have you recently retired, been laid off, or offered a pension buyout? Has the company you work for moved, been acquired, or closed its doors forever? And finally, do you have a 401k with a previous employer you'd like to move to safer territory? Then take advantage of this opportunity to move your 401k or lump sum pension to Tony Walker Financial. Let's meet in person to discuss your retirement options. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com to schedule your free, no obligation appointment. Let us help you today. Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement, folks. And we're continuing our theme of having everything under one roof. With me, of course, in the studio is America's favorite financial sidekick, Aaron Orander. Yesterday, Aaron, I know you were still traveling back from northern Georgia in your new van, but yesterday it was ironic. I had close to 20 appointments in the office. We're back in business now, folks, but two different people, two different sets of couples I was talking with, and I was sharing the one roof philosophy. The one roof philosophy, folks, in case you haven't heard me talk about this, is what I've worked on for years so that as you get near retirement and after you retire, the key is everything's under one roof. All of your products, all your process, all your planning, the people, the staff we have, and then hopefully at the end you think, gosh, this is nice to know because I have peace of mind. And I asked both couples, this happens all the time, Aaron, I looked at both of them, I said, okay, which one of you, be honest, really handles the money and understands them? It's always just one, okay. I won't name whether it's male or female, it doesn't matter. So every time I did that, I said, fine. And then I'd look at the other person in this couple, Aaron, that doesn't handle the money. And I said, so when he or she dies, how comforting would it be for you to know that everything is under one roof? All you have to do is make a phone call and everything is taken care of for you. What do you think they said?
Sign me up. That sounds great.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But nobody's got that because the financial world, folks, listen, this is the problem. All they want to do is focus on products. That would be like, again, trying to build a house and all we talk about is wood with no plans on what we're going to do. By the way, speaking of wood, if you were going to construct a house, Aaron, and have you ever thought about the different species of wood? How many different types of wood are there? We've been talking about types of minivans and products here. Name a few of them.
Let's see. Do Lincoln logs count? No, I'm just kidding. Types of woods. Let's see. Well, I mean, there's oak, timber. There's even faux wood. There's wood that's, composite. I think they call it.
Yeah.
It's not like a solid piece. They just kind of mix it all together. Let's see. What else? Maple, cedar.
There you go.
Yeah, cedar's one of them. I think that's about it. I think I'm tapped out.
Well, it's interesting in our timber frame home because of the way they're constructed, and we used a company out of Canada. The primary wood they use, which is found mainly in the Northwest up there, is Douglas fir.
Oh.
Interesting, isn't it?
Okay.
So that Douglas fir, I've got to tell the story. So when we had all these timbers shipped down from Canada to Kentucky, and again, folks, I had some great contractors lined up in Kentucky. And in case you missed this story, the bottom line is I wanted to build a timber frame home. I had to have it designed. The plans had to be drawn up by a gentleman out in Colorado an architect that specializes in these types of homes. Then he sends the plans to the engineering/timber facility in Canada that knows how to take the plans and engineer timbers, and they pre-cut. I'm not kidding here. We've got pictures of all this when they delivered them. Over 600 pre-cut timbers, which were delivered at one time. 5 semi-tractor trailer loads of timbers came, all wrapped up in the Canadian timber system. It's pretty wild. But anyway, they were Douglas firs. Now, before they shipped them, the gentleman at Canadian Timber said, he was a real nice guy, he said, hey, Tony, I know this is going to be a little extra cost, but can I make a suggestion before we send these timbers down? I said, well, sure. What do you because there's already going to be quite a bit of money. He said, for a little bit extra money, I can have a tech, a gentleman, actually he was of German descent. He kind of laughed. He said, now, you're probably not going to be able to understand him, but real good tech that I use out of Michigan that travels around the country. And what he would do, Aaron, is the plans were sent to the contractors, right? All the timbers show up. But you think about it, they had no understanding of how to put these together.
If they've never done it before, right?
Yeah, just it doesn't mean they couldn't do it. They just didn't know where to start. So he says, believe me, if you spend this money on this guy, you'll be pleased. I said, great, send him down. So anyway, I was all excited. I go to the first day that he's supposed to show up. He's coming from Michigan. Kenneth is the main framer on the job. We got all kinds of wood there. We got pine, cedar, and everything else. But all of a sudden, here's 600 Douglas firs spread all over all these lots beside us with numbers and this huge stack of plans. And Kenneth's like, I said, hey, where's the fella from Michigan? And Kenneth, in kind of a southern drawl, said, well, he had to head off to the hardware store. And I said, the hardware store? What's he doing at the hardware store? And Kenneth kind of laughed, and he was trying to, in this southern drawl, imitate a German accent. This was priceless.
Oh, I can't wait to hear you say
this is good.
This.
Well, I don't know if I can imitate it. It was. So I said, why did he go to the hardware store? And Kenneth said, and he kind of smiled, and he said, because we need more sledgehammers. So the point was, folks, all of the technology and all these fancy tools that they were ready to apply to put these timbers up. You know what they needed? A good old-fashioned...
They needed a big hammer,
big
sledgehammer
to bang those things in place. And not just one, several of them. And so when he got back, I had to leave the job site and go back to work. I came back. This guy they've got a crane, and I'm telling you, I've never seen something get assembled so quick. This guy's crawling on rafters, hammering them in, bring up another one. I mean, these are heavy timbers. I mean, some of them probably 1,000, 2,000 pounds. But it was really, really interesting. But so the point is, folks, sometimes a simple product like a sledgehammer might be the right tool for the right job. And this is the same way with your finances, folks. There is no one perfect tool. You got to have a variety of tools, and that's why at Tony Walker Financial we use so many different products, and that's why we specialize in working with savers. We're not out here trying to manage your money. We're not trying to grow your money at all costs and take a bunch of risk. What we're trying to do is safely put all this money, bring it under one roof, again, so that you can use and enjoy this money. Now, how do we do this? Again, let's review this real quick. We have 4 categories of financial products we use. Now, this is for your 401k rollovers, your inheritances, and things like that. Now, we do life insurance and long-term care, final expense. We do all those products. But I'm talking about, let's say, if you want to roll over your 401k to us. You're going to say, well, where are you going to invest it, Tony? Oh, incidentally, we've been really getting a lot of feedback on this, Aaron. If you want to download my latest book, 401k Rollovers Made Easy, boy, this is a doozy. If you're maybe have a former 401k still at a former employer, if you're over the age of 59 and a half, if you're retired, maybe you rolled the 401k over to another advisor and you're not happy with their services, or they're charging you out the yin-yang and fees, or you feel like they're taking a sledgehammer to your money, or whatever it is. This booklet is very, very good. It explains how we at Tony Walker Financial can roll that 401k over into our split IRA process and these 4 different products that we use. So to get that booklet, you can either call us. We'll mail you a hard copy. That number is 877-499-9255. That's 877-499-WALK. And just tell us you want us to mail you the 401k Rollovers Booklet Made Easy. Or just go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, and on the homepage, you can download it there at TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Okay, so what are these 4 safest instruments that we use? Well, first of all, bank instruments. And yes, we can do money markets, 1-year CDs. And the reason we do that, folks, if we're going to put everything under one roof, we have to have safety and access to some of this money. Many of you are making a mistake by putting too much money in one product, and in many cases it limits your ability to do things, and we don't want to do that. Remember, we want to have maximum flexibility when you get into retirement, because the whole purpose of our Live Well, Die Broke philosophy is to use and enjoy your money while you still can. And that's hard to do when your money's all locked up somewhere or if it's at risk. Okay, so that's the first place. The second place we might invest your money is government bonds, very, very strong government bonds. Now you say, well, Tony, they're not paying a lot, are they? Well, no, they're not paying a lot right now, but it's safe. And again, the goal here is to make sure safety first. Now, if we want to get a little more frisky without risk, we move over to annuities, fixed interest annuities and fixed indexed annuities, or we can even use what's called life insurance, dividend participating life insurance, which can be used very well in the planning process. These are insurance contracts backed by insurance companies. And then finally, the 4th product that we use sometimes, not everybody wants this as a saver, but we call these dividend-oriented ETFs. And the dividend-oriented ETFs, if you want, will give you a little bit of exposure to the stock market if that's what you're looking for. We don't recommend a lot in these products, but we do have some people, Aaron, and I know you're not in meetings with Tony Walker Financial, but I had a gentleman the other day came in and said, Tony, could I just do some bank products? In his case, he didn't want any annuities. That's fine. He doesn't have to have the annuities. And I just want some of these dividend-oriented ETFs along with it. He was okay taking a little bit of risk. But he says, I want your planning services. I need your staff. I like the idea that you've got 3 full-time fiduciaries. I want you to help me, and I want a local advisor I can talk to. I said, no problem. So somewhere along the way, Aaron, I don't know where it got started. I'm sure it's from our friendly competitors out there. Folks, we do a lot more than just annuities. I've been licensed to sell securities since the mid-'80s and a registered investment advisor and fiduciary for years. So if you're looking for a well-rounded, well-respected fiduciary that represents all the products you might need for retirement, give us an opportunity to talk. Just log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, click on that Let's Get Started, and we will be happy to talk to you by phone or even meet in person at either our Bowling Green, Louisville, or Lexington, Kentucky offices. TonyWalkerFinancial.com. All right, when I come back, Aaron, I'm going to pose an interesting question to you. And again, I'm going to hit you blindside with this, but it's a very, very interesting question, and it's going to expose the fact that most people have basically neglected the 5 P's, and why, if you'll think about this question very closely and allow me to walk you through it, you're going to worry so much less about money, and you're going to feel more confident to use and enjoy it while you still can. I'm Tony Walker. I'll be right back. Welcome to our Employee Spotlight, and today's feature will be Miss Heather Hughes, our fiduciary in the Bowling Green office. First of all, Heather, thank you for making the drive with JJ up to our Louisville studios today from Bowling Green.
Glad to do it today.
So, briefly, tell the audience a little bit about how you got started at Tony Walker Financial, how long you've been with us, and your role there from doing an income planning specialist role all the way down to the fiduciary.
Oh, sure. Well, joined the firm back in 2006. Hard to believe it's been that long. Started off just helping you kind of develop game plans on the earliest levels. Since then, we went from Excel spreadsheets and building out our own
big
proprietary
accordion. Remember the big accordion spreadsheets?
Yeah. Long sheets of paper. Then developing that proprietary software that we've come to love so much, and it's so helpful for clients. Since then, you know, as I learned the business, it really became a passion of mine, and ended up becoming a fiduciary just like you.
And you're that person at the office that's there full time, which is so helpful to us, because many times I'm with clients quite a bit. But tell people the, I guess, surprise they have when we respond so quickly to their questions, and the ability to call up the game plan and react to their needs as they change in retirement.
Sure, that's one of the benefits, I think, of having me in the office full time. I know you're meeting with a lot of clients up here in Louisville. When you're in a meeting, you're of course not readily available. They can usually reach me with just a quick phone call. So if they have any questions, especially existing clients, I'm happy to answer those for them, pull up their game plan. If there are any changes we need to make, we're happy to do that. Or if they're even needing to make some decisions, I can help with that.
Well, Heather, obviously I appreciate your work so much at Tony Walker Financial. You've been a great asset, and we look forward to helping many more savers. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Tony.
Who can you trust? It's one of the most important decisions you'll have to make. Question is, are you ready? Well, we're here to help at Tony Walker Financial. You know, we care more about you than we do your money, and we have over 2,000 happy clients and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau to prove it. Rolling over a 401k, confused about Social Security, maybe you're afraid of running out of money. Learn how to use and enjoy and protect your hard-earned money. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started. Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement. I am Tony Walker, and did I mention, Aaron, I'm that little man in the sweater vest? I think I forgot to say that.
I don't think you said that earlier.
I had a gentleman in yesterday, and he said, I've been watching that TV show of yours for a while. He said, how many of them sweater vests you got? You remember I used to have all the different colors I would wear?
Oh, yeah. I've seen your closet. Yeah, I've seen it.
I gave you some of them, and I think I quit wearing them. I think I just decided black. What it is, I've picked up a few pounds.
Yeah.
Oh, black pants, black sweater vest, folks. Also, I don't have to think much. All I do is I change the color of my shirt.
Just change your shirt.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that movie, The Fly. Did you ever see that, where that mad scientist guy had like 20 jackets in the closet, and they're all the same ones? All right. Running out of time here. This is an important question. I'm going to ask Aaron, but whether you're driving down the road or just sitting there listening to this, I want you to really think about this quickly. So when I ask you the question, answer it quickly. Don't think about it, but we're going to dive into why you answer the question the way I know you're going to answer it. So we're going to allow America's favorite financial sidekick to play along. So here we go, Aaron. Imagine you're retired or nearing retirement, which I know you're not, but try to picture yourself. Let's say you're 65, okay? You've just quit work, or they've told you they're giving you the pink slip, and they hired 3 people younger than you to replace you and ran you off, or whatever the case is. And I say, okay, Aaron, great. You come and visit with me. We're going to do some retirement planning. Would you rather have, let's say in your 401k, $300,000 in your 401k or $500,000 in your 401k? What's your first response? What would you rather have?
$500,000.
And why?
Because it's more money.
Okay, let's keep going. So everybody, hopefully, if you're honest with yourselves, which I would have too, would have said, well, of course, Tony, that's crazy, $500,000. So let's think about this a minute. But you don't really know the difference between 300 and 500, other than 500 is more money. But now we've got to take that money, Aaron, and figure out how we're going to use and enjoy it in retirement. Have you ever had $500,000 that you got to figure out how you're going to spend? Is this a new phenomenon for you at this point?
Right. This would be new for me.
Yeah. So think about this, folks. This is where most people don't understand retirement planning, and this is where the financial world has got you duped. They have told you over and over again that you've got to save and save and save. And on the surface, I do agree with that. Don't get me wrong. You have to save for retirement. But we have to ask ourselves, Aaron, what is the purpose of this money? If we're saving it, what's the ultimate goal in retirement? What do we want to do with it?
Spend it.
Spend it.
Yeah. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it. But if you don't know how much you can spend, if you don't have a written game plan, you're going to fall back on what they've told you. Aaron, you got to have more money. And then what happens is, well, okay, I know 300 is what I could have had if I'd played it safe. But I know my buddy over here, we were talking at the water cooler the other day, he's kind of taken a lot of risk over the years. He's got $500,000. He's got more money than me, which is irrelevant. Because you know what the 500,000 guy hears at the water cooler, the guy's got 750, what's he say? Darn it, I wish I had 750. He's got more money than me. And then it goes on and on and on. And what most people they don't have a handle on your game plan. So what we do with the worry-free retirement, that we have to remind people, when you get into retirement, Aaron, whenever you reach that day one day, remember what I said here. If you remember anything else, it's all about cash flow. How much money is coming in and how much money is going out. And this sounds so fundamental, but people forget this. So what you have to do, folks, when we start with the worry-free retirement process, this is why we start with the first step, which is clarify your vision. What is it you want? And one thing I admire about you, Aaron, you went down to Georgia, if you don't mind me saying, you bought a used van, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, I pay you decently. You probably could have gone out and gotten a brand new van and gotten a loan against it. I'm sure you thought about it.
That's kind of what the original plan was. We had X amount of dollars. I won't say exactly how much. We had X amount of dollars budgeted, like, okay, this is what we can afford. Mm-hmm. Let's not go past this. And then this kind of fell in our lap, and it was, it's actually Jessica's aunt and uncle, and they were like, they had bought a newer van, and this van was just sitting in the garage.
Wow.
It wasn't going anywhere. And he just said, I'll give it to you for this. And then he said, well, because your family, I'll knock this much off. And then we got down there and he said, well, I thought about it, I'll knock off another X amount of dollars.
Wow.
So it just kept going down and down and down, and it was well within our budget. So it was like, yeah, we couldn't pass this up.
I'd be nice to that fellow and see if you're in his will. That sounds like a generous fellow. But see, so here's the point, folks. This is what you have to do in retirement. You have to think logically. So Aaron could have, if he had more money even, gone out and bought a brand new van or spent 3 times as much. But Aaron, and this is intuitive, and I commend you for this, Aaron, intuitively thought, no, wait a minute, I can get this van for this cost. Basically, it's the same van. I know it's got more miles, but it's probably a very nice van, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah, so this is what happens in retirement. So one reason I'm sharing this with you, folks, is you are getting discouraged out there because the message you're hearing from the financial world is really all about them. The reason they think that you need to save more money and not spend it is because if you do that, that means you take it away from them. Aaron, how do you think the financial world makes money? What have I said before? Whose money is it they're making money on?
Yours.
That's right.
Fees, taxes, all that stuff.
All of it. And I'm in the same boat, folks. I'm a financial advisor. The difference between our approach and most advisors' approach is we want to figure out how to get the money back to you in the safest manner possible without the fear of running out. So we recognize this is not our money, this is your money. But if you're sitting there right now thinking, you know what, Tony, I don't feel like anybody's really in my corner. I feel like everybody's taking a sledgehammer to my money and my plans. If you want to get a handle on this, why don't we just meet in person? There's no cost or obligation. We will be happy to look at your situation, provide a free written game plan. It's a proprietary software I use. I know it's proprietary because I created it, and it's absolutely free. To take advantage of this, log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, click on the Let's Get Started, or call us now at 877-499-9255, 877-499-WALK. Well, we hope you've enjoyed today's program. We look forward to seeing you next week and talking to you more about this worry-free retirement and how we can help you worry less about money. But between now and then, If all else fails, you be worry-free.
If you need it, you don't got it, you don't get it, shame on you. Funny, funny, funny what money can do.